Well, we have some good news and some bad news. The fellas, they are still above 500 away from Wrigley Field. The difference is, though, they're 6-10 in series openers on the road. They got to fix that. And the night, well, it didn't get off to a rip-roaring start with Hunter Greene out there on the mound. And then Pagan came in to absolutely slam the door. The light show was going on in Cincy, a 4-0 loss, courtesy of those Red Legs. And tonight was all about their starting pitcher, Hunter Greene. Welcome to the show. This is Cubs Postgame Live, brought to you by Yuengling Flight, the next generation of light beer. And we talked about it during Cubs Live. We said one thing you don't want to happen is to let Hunter Greene get settled in. You saw his ERA. It was over 21 entering the game, but now it's sub-7. My man was settled in.
Well, yeah, I mean, and being his second start since coming back off the IL, and you would have hoped that he would have pitched like he did in his first time against the Cubs when he gave up eight runs against the Orioles. But, yeah, I mean, he just had everything working tonight. I mean, let alone does he throw 101, but he hit to all four quadrants. I said in the pregame show that you can't chase those fastballs up because there's nothing up there underneath your armpits, and guys were just trying to do a little too much. But I think when you take a look at it, he mixed it up so well. He had 5 strikeouts via the four-seamer, 4 via the slider, and then 3 via the split. So, I mean, he mixed it up, and he had these guys off balance. He did, look like he was tiring out a little bit. He got a walk, and then they got a base hit.
But you said it looked like he was tiring out. Was he in the 7th inning, still throwing 101?
Yeah, but they had the opportunity to put a run on the board,
good point.
But they weren't able to come across. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about that later. But, I mean, it's one of those guys that he hasn't worked late into ball games because he's been on the IL.
Yeah, let's get to some GMC professional grade plays presented by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana GMC dealers. It looks like he had plenty of energy entering this one because the 12 punch-outs, the most strikeouts by the Chicago Cubs. The starter has dealt them all season long, and he was just filth from the start. 93 pitches, 20 called strikes, 14 whiffs, and 22 foul balls. Sometimes when they're fouling it off, it means that, okay, they're right around the corner from striking gold, but they were right around the corner from not striking gold.
Yeah, and we talked about it. When your top 3 hitters are 0 for 12 with 8 Ks, and you only have 5 base runners total for the game, it's tough to get anything manufacturing going on. We can't even talk about hitting his runners in scoring position because nobody really got in scoring position. It's very unfortunate because this offense has been hot as of late, and Seiya Suzuki, likes to hit the fastball, so he got a couple knocks off of him today. So you wish you could have got something going, but he just kept these guys off balance. I mean, you could tell that from pitch 1 or from at bat 1 against PCA, I mean, he was locked in. He was painting in, out, up, down, didn't matter. And it's tough to be a hitter and face a guy like that when he can do that because you have to pick one side of the plate, and he wasn't sticking to just one side of the plate. You see here in his last 2 starts, I mean, that the first one in September 18th, I mean, 9 innings, 1 hit, 0 runs. This is against the Cubs, in his last 2 starts. So now he moves to 6-1 career against the Cubs as well. So he likes throwing against the Cubs. He had 109 pitches in that other one, 93 today. But he's just very efficient, kept that pitch count low, and when you're striking that many guys out, it's easy to do that.
Yeah, you would love to see the fellas go up there with a 2-strike approach, play a little shortened up game and put the ball in play, maybe get him off of his square defensively, perhaps lay something down, but that was not in the game plan tonight. Now, on the flip side, the Reds, their game plan was hit the ball farther than they built the fence, and that is what they live by this evening. We saw the pair of long balls, and it was Elly De La Cruz who really got things started. We said this dude, right off the rip, is going to be an issue, but it was the 3rd time around where it was really the issue for Shota Imanaga.
Yeah, and Shota pitched well. I mean, he only gave up the 1 run, and it's this home run to Elly De La Cruz. And I talked about on the flip side in the pregame show, we talked about these top 4 guys where you cannot leave the ball up out of over the plate to these guys. They don't have the batting average, but they hit the ball over the fence.
Sure.
Their top 4 guys, 8 for 15 with 2 home runs. So that was the difference in the ball game.
Yeah, the top of the lineup is getting after it. They're logging some hits as well as adding a little slug into the mix, especially when they're at home and they're taking advantage of some of those creature comforts. That's when you know you could be in for a long day. And the final score, not necessarily indicative of how this game really reflected out there on the diamond, was it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the Reds had 13 hits. So, I mean, they strung it together. I mean, you had a lot of guys getting multiple hits. It was just a 2-run home run that ended up being kind of the Achilles heel that ended at the end of the ball game. But Shota, I mean, only giving up the 1 run. He pitched well. He just got his pitch count up, throwing 102 pitches, being the most that he's thrown all year. So Craig, I'm sure, would have liked to get 6 or 7 innings out of him, but only able to go 5 because he had that pitch count up so high.
Yeah, you hate to see an effort like that from Shota just fall by the wayside, essentially squandered tonight, a 4-0. The Cincinnati Reds, they come out on top. They were powered by the commanding performance of Hunter Greene. And Craig, he had front row seats to see what that man was doing, first-class seats. Let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah, I mean, he was not in good form in his first start. He was in good form this start, and it's a really good fastball to both sides, obviously, and then the split to the lefties and the slider to the righties. And we didn't take very many good swings. I think we probably hit 4 balls hard tonight. 5 base runners in total in the night, so that's never going to be enough.
What did you think of Shota tonight?
Yeah, I mean, all night they did an excellent job just fouling pitches off. And so, Shota pitched very well, but I think 100-plus pitches over 5 innings, giving up 1 run, it's almost hard to do. But credit to them for really extending at bats and not giving him. He had an inning where he gets the first 2 hitters out, and he still throws 15 pitches that inning. So they made it tough on him to get a quick inning, and that obviously limited his length.
It didn't factor into anything, but what was the rationale on the foul ball? I don't know if it's foul.
Yeah, so we obviously challenged it with the thought that there was some fan interference. Essentially, they said the fan did interfere, but it was it was out of play, if that makes sense. So yeah, the ball was in the stand, so it wasn't fan interference because the ball was in the stand, so it's just a foul ball. So if the fan touches it while he's not hanging over the field of play, it's just a foul ball.
They didn't indicate whether or not it also hit the padding, or they didn't tell you that.
I think they said it hit the padding, but that once it hit the fan, it hit the fan first.
Moot point.
Yeah.
Back to Hunter, strike 1 with him tonight seemed like it was a big deal. And when you guys are down strike 1, I think it was 18 of the 25 or 17 of the 25 at bats. How important is that for him?
Yeah, I mean it's never going to be easy, when you're down in the count, when most of the bats are going to be down in the count, and I think that's every pitcher's goal is to get ahead. We didn't, sometimes the goal is to do damage on that first pitch. That didn't happen either. So that's as a starting pitcher, that's kind of what you're supposed to do, and that's the goal.
Some of these questions about Shota heading into the year, he's like by far earlier in starts than in his pitch. Like, how do you feel he's positioned down the stretch to be the guy who really?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think Shota's, he had about a 3-start stretch where it was a little rough. Before that, after that, I think he's pitched really well. And I think he's in a good spot. I mean, I think we're, he'll get a little rest here now, hopefully, and hopefully come back and last 65 or so games, which is 12-ish, 13 starts. Hopefully they're good ones.
Well, just a skosh under 70 games to play. That gets us to our Make Life Brighter moment of the evening, presented by Pella Windows and Doors. And if this doesn't make your day brighter every time you see Shota Imanaga out there on the hill, then I don't know what you're looking at. 5 innings, 102 pitches, gave a king's effort. 23 batters faced. 17 of them saw first pitch strike swing.
Yeah, and only gave up 7 hits. I like the only 1 base on balls. He had the 5 strikeouts and then just gave up the 1 homer to De La Cruz. But like Craig said, when you take a look at it, you have to give credit to the Reds hitters, because even though they didn't do much against him, they had 4.4 pitches per plate appearance that they saw. So they were fouling off pitches, working in the count, and then they might get a hit. But you see tonight, I mean, just his ability to be economical. I think if you'd ask him, obviously he'd want to keep his pitch count down and at least go another inning. May 7th, he threw 6 innings against him, you see here, with 10 strikeouts and only 3 base on balls. But you see, it's kind of the Reds' MO against him is here getting his pitch count up early on in these innings.
Yeah, just to lend credence to the grinding nature of the Cincinnati Reds, 29 foul balls off of Shota Imanaga's fingertips. Cincinnati, they were all over him all day long, and they made it an uncomfortable ride for him. 4-0, that's the final tally.